The prison was standing on the radiator grill. Shawty don't like it. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah. Shawty don't like it. Rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah. By order of the prophet, burn that boogie sound.
Good afternoon. This is Mr. Not Advice. It is Friday the 13th, June 13th, 2025. This is my end of the week as well as weekend updates. A lot to digest today, especially over the last 48 hours. On top of, it's been a crazy, it's been a crazy year. But just last weekend, we had, I believe it was the Trump Musk blow up. And then last night, of course, we had the attacks, the strikes from Israel into Iran. And so I'm going to start off with that. I'm just reading off a report from Academy Securities. As this escalates, look for energy prices to rise, and the ability of Saudi Arabia to pump and ship is key. So that's important. So the ability to ship is key. If it becomes unsafe to transport fuel, that would have major consequences. Supply chain, right? Individual production facilities also would be a big deal. The most at risk would be diesel fuel. Treasuries will start to act like a safe haven. Now, globally, rates went higher, but that was because of the inflation risk of higher oil. But the risk of increased military spending also helped push them higher. The Fed and central banks across the globe will not be afraid to cut because oil went higher, and they're all looking at that as right now transitory. If it's not, they're going to. You're probably going to see more cuts. So what could we wake up to Monday morning? Well, we could wake up to everything's smooth across the globe. Iran has decided it's had enough, and they're going to get back to the negotiating table. That could happen on Sunday, right? If that happens, we're going to see a massive rally in risk assets. Great. We have some of those. However, as I commented in the live session this morning, one of the things that's happening is this certainly is going to weaken the view of the rest of the world. It's going to weaken how the rest of the world views the U.S. if the U.S. were to get involved directly into a military conflict. So not good. And you can be sure that Iran is considering striking back at U.S. bases directly, maybe not through their proxies, but they also are considering what would happen if they do that. That would drag the U.S. in. So think of the negotiations that are going on. So there's negotiations. Well, there's none now, but supposedly there were negotiations planned. Well, there were negotiations planned for this Sunday with Iran between the U.S. That's not going to happen. Well, maybe it does. Shocking. But that's probably not going to happen. There's sort of a deal with China in trade. There's framework of a deal with the UK, India, maybe this fall. It's a mess. Okay. So on the back of that view, if we look at the S&P chart that I have on the screen here, the question really becomes here is, does this become a double top, right? 1, 2, or is this something that we're finally going to push through and get to an all-time high? I will tell you that a great deal of technical damage has happened from a momentum standpoint. I could tell you that the trade desks are watching the 21-day moving average right around 59.50 on the ES. Okay. And look at the absolute perfect timing of the bears and the bulls. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. So just as the bears get worse and the bulls get better, Iran happens. Looking at oil. So oil is well above the 200-day moving average. So looking to the top side, 77.50 and $80 become resistance. I see support at, let's call 72.70 and 67.5. Well, I don't watch it. There are people who do. The RSI at 77 haven't been there since, well, the beginning of 2025. So this is another example. CTAs, big money guys, are getting just smashed because they are short oil. And this is actually a chart of where they have to cover. They got a problem. It's already busted through there. So we're at the cover point. So they're getting smashed in the face. This is a chart of, oops. This is a correlation, the inverse of the VIX to the SPX. Okay. And what I'm looking at is the last time the VIX was at this level. Yes. Okay. Where was the SPX? 150 points lower. So one of these two things is going to change. Either this comes down or this goes up, or both happen at the same time. Okay. And I think both happen at the same time, by the way. Looking at the overall markets, and I'll come back to where I think we're headed. Speaking of the VIX, we had the VIX spike today. Let's get out the 1 minute. This is the daily chart of the VIX. Big old spike over the 200-day moving average. I have no idea what it's going to do. Excuse me, Tesla. Tesla had a heck of a day today. Down as much today as down to 313, so $12 lower than it closed. It is trying to put in some sort of, I guess, rounded bottom here, but top side, I'd have no interest in going long Tesla until we break that 335.81 level right here. That'll be right now. We are short via the TQQQs. So right now, though, our position is down 21%. I will look to close these on Monday morning. Where will I look to close? Well, at the very least, we're going to have to get back above 73.28, but I'm going to make it higher. I want to be back above Thursday's low of 74.52. Get me back above that, and I will be interested in holding this. Otherwise, I'm not interested. So 74.52 on my TQQQ. I'm planning on getting stopped out, by the way. Silver closed. I've been very stubborn on this because I've got to stop at 32.99 was when what I had raised my stop to. I'm still there. So 32.97 on the close, 99 by 33 in the aftermarket. I think what we got here is that classic, right? Volume driven spike and gap, spikes up, come back down, and then go. So that's why I'm holding it just a bit longer. We have a double position in SDS. I opened a lotto yesterday, which were July 20 calls. Those are up 36%. I also have a lotto, or not lotto, a starter position in SDS 20 September 20 calls. SDS is a 2x, what is it, 2x, 3x inverse of ultra short. So a 3x ultra short of the S&P 500. Okay. So by the position that we have are calls, SDS calls, because as the market goes down, this will go up. So we weren't able to scale on these today. I'm certainly not going to write these back down. Looking at the Qs on a daily basis, zooming in here, this is a high close doji just triggered. Here's the high close. Here's the doji. Will I look at shorting this? Yeah, I probably will. I'll just have to see what it looks like. Palantir, once again, 140 was the high 2 days ago. Okay. Today we hit a high of 139.99. Hey, guess where I'm putting my buy level? Yeah. I will look at getting long Palantir above 130, 140. Okay. Let's keep going. PCT. We scaled on PCT, and then today actually PCT recovered nicely based on how low it could go. I'm not messing with the stop. We are down to runners on that, and we are still up in that trade 29, 30%. NVDA, looking at that, stuck in the range, right? There it is. All right. Do we have a Low close doji triggering today. We do not. So this thing is just stuck right now. I have no interest in going long this yet. If you're going to ask me where I would go short, right here. We'll take a look at 140.29, 140.91, I guess, to the downside. Looking at the NASDAQ markets, big old low close doji, okay, into support. But am I looking to take this? I don't know. I have to look and see if there's a good setup here. MGNI, we are an MGNI, and I believe we will take the stop 42% unless we obviously get way back above today's high. Not going to happen. IREN, IREN, ugly. So it's closing below that. I wouldn't give this a, I mean, 972 down to here, but I understand you for long. But if it were me, I'd be taking a stop unless I got a stick save back above this low here. I wouldn't mess around with it. FTI was a position we opened this week. Did we open this today? Let me check here. So FTI is actually in the oil business, but they are equipment and technology. So looking at FTI, we opened that yesterday. Here was the trade. The break was on Wednesday. We opened it yesterday on the pullback. We are currently into the trade, and our position is up 35, 52, 35.5%. I will raise my stop to the top or to the low of today's candle at 34.21 is my stop. So 34.20. Okay. Let's see. I'll come back to EOSE. NVX. High close doji right there against this. Am I looking to trade it? Yeah, we'll take a look at it. If NVX, I'm sorry, I don't have a hell of a lot to report. I mean, I see the macro news reports. I see, talk of, I just saw one online on Twitter. I see all that, but until I get confirmation and there's verification, and then finally it's expressed through the stock price, I won't touch it. So God bless you. If you make a ton of money and I don't, that's fine with me. Okay, Clorox. We opened this position yesterday also. Clorox position. This was our break. This is a little bit trickier, by the way. So this was our break. Okay, 126.40, which was the low of this candle right here. So we took this on a break, did it. We get in and we got smashed in the face yesterday. It felt bad. Look what happened today. Holy crap. So, great trade, Hongi later. I scaled today for already half my position. And I think I booked 49% in one day. I still have half of my position in Clorox, and that closed up 54%. So beyond, let's take a look. Beyond, high close doji right into support. I have no desire to get short that. I might take a look here at this 597 level, just looking at the current price action. A lot of times I'll adjust my entry levels based on the current price action. Not a lot of times, all the time. ATI, wham, we got smoked on this trade. Here we go. ATI, yeah, we got to get out of this. So we opened this a couple days ago, 2 days, down 26%. By the way, my scale alone on Clorox makes up my entire loss on ATI. Closing this on Monday, APLD, Applied Digital Corp, which we opened yesterday also. So another one, check this out. So we get into this trade on this support level here, 1248 breaks, okay? So doesn't break on this day because that was the close. It breaks on this day. We get in, right? Or no, I'm sorry, breaks on this day. We get in on Thursday, yesterday. Look what happens. We got trashed. Then look what happened today. This is why we do not use intraday stops. Take notice. That's 2 trades now, Clorox and this. So here we go. We are up 9-10% on this. Applied Digital. My original stop on Applied Digital was 1248. We are obviously not going to take this all the way back up to 1248, which is beyond the top of this candle. So I'm going to set my stop at I don't want to see this price higher than 1150. Okay. Why? 1151. Even number. Okay. Market loves even numbers. Big candle. I'll accept a retrace, but what I won't accept is a close above 1151. Whoops. There we are. All right. ATI. What else do we have here? Looking at, Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Smasheroonie, but should find support down here at this 100,000 level. If it doesn't, then, well, I might be a little bit concerned. Let's go to EOSE. One sec. EOSE. Price remains stuck. Okay. Forget about all of this. This is why I teach. Look at this chart. And when you look at your chart, look at the most recent day first. Okay. I don't see any institutional buying. I see what I am pleased about is that the volume has finally dropped 10, 11 million. That's okay. I believe, as I've stated in other updates, that the reason for the massive drop also was a tremendous amount of margin selling. If you've never had a margin call, it doesn't mean if, let's say you owe $5,000, that's your call. Well, you can't just sell $5,000 worth of stock. You literally have to sell at least 2x, sometimes 3x the amount in order to cover the call. So there was a tremendous amount of margin calls on this. I think that's done. I like where it is technically. It's putting a base in. This number here, this point of control at 404-ish, that's a big deal number. That's the price where the most amount of volume was done in the past 365 days. So finding support here, we also have the 200-day moving average. Okay. So right now, what I would say price right now on this date is stuck between the 200-day moving average, point of control, all the way down to the low of this candle, 369. Until one of those levels breaks, there's nothing to do. My plan is, and what I think will develop is I think we'll get a buy, or I will get a buy signal, because my buy signal is close above 435. Get me up into this. That's a huge move down. And just as quickly as it came down, it has the potential to do the same thing moving up. So I am looking long. I'm not concerned about it. I also am pretty careful and confident that I haven't drank the Kool-Aid. So, meaning I'm not hoping here. Remember, I reduced my position, but I'm still at, I think, what, 11, 12%? Bringing up which, looking at the portfolio performance for the week. So these are the trades that I closed this week, 6-9. These were the returns for those individual trades. Okay. If you want to have an idea of what the effect was on the overall portfolio, in the week, the portfolio grew from 21,496 to 22,653. So let's call it $1,100. So a little bit over, slightly over 5% for the week. In addition, cumulatively, the portfolio now is up 353%, 29.72% for 2025. The current value is 22.6, started at 5. Every single one of these trades, by the way, was disclosed publicly in real time. Total return 353% with a average hold of 15.12 days. And again, this is what the chart looks like. Open positions that I currently have. These are my open positions, and I post those for my Discord members also. But you can see that we've scaled on a couple, waiting to scale on others. A lot of these are EOSE or longer term, or they're small positions, not overly concerned. So I'm gonna have to adjust this though. I'm just watching this while I'm doing this report for you all, and there are now reports coming across that there is radiological and chemical contamination at Natanz, or how you say it. I apologize if I'm misrepresenting that. Yes, there's, let's see, there are no indications of damage to the underground enrichment facilities at the site, but the power outage may have affected the centrifuges. There is radioactive and chemical contamination at the site. Okay, so let's go back to where I think we're going to end up for the market, right? I think, and I sort of put my money where my mouth is. I was discussing this with the members today at the close live. One of the things I like to watch, I use quite a bit, is overnight session highs and lows. Okay. So if I go to the gray areas represent the overnight session. So this was yesterday's overnight session, last night. Okay. Early on while we were talking, I said to the members, we're going to retest cash flow, and we did test it. And we did it here. So that was in real time. Okay. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, I think this overnight low at 59.25, it's got to be tested before there's any move up. Markets do not bottom in overnight sessions. Okay. So that's the overnight low. Before to the top side is going to be right here in this 60-30 area. This is the major battle zone now. So what I did is I maintained my short positions, synthetic short, SDS, and I have calls on them. So I maintained my short even though I could have scaled for profits because I believe this market is headed back down. And I think it could happen Sunday night or Monday morning. Why? Because I don't believe that Iran by Monday or Monday morning or market open is just going to magically say everything is okay. I don't know. That could happen. I guess it sort of happened. I forget with October 7th. But more often than not, not more often than not, when I look at the facts and the data, the risk is not that, everyone comes together and, peace springs out throughout the Middle East. The risk is the battle gets worse, right? So that's why I maintain those short positions. But I got to congratulate our traders this week. We had a hell of a week. We have had a hell of 8 weeks. And it's been what we do is very difficult. I mean, timing the market the way we have, shorts and calls and longs and puts. So I really want to congratulate you. Looking finally, what do I want to see happen with the EOSE? Very simple. I do not think the stock price is going to move unless and until there's a news announcement. And the problem with that for me is I might be too late on the initial move. I might miss the spike. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm okay. I have 12% of my entire portfolios allocated to it right now. I'm okay with the position I have, and I'm cautiously encouraged by the price action recently, which is that 200-day moving average here, that blue line and that green line, right? They're holding. It's still struggling. We need to get it back above it. But if we can structurally hold this level and then get above here, I would say, barring any additional bad news, the selling should be done. So I'm very, I said to somebody this morning that I was having a one-on-one, and I said, let me be very clear about EOSE with the facts that I know now, and comparing it to the hundreds, thousands of stocks that I've been involved in, and hundreds of corporate finance deals. That's not say 100, maybe over 100. EOSE still, to me, has the ingredients that possibly could make it a unicorn. Okay. And when I say unicorn, what is it? It's a 10x, from the current price. But do I maintain that I think if EOSE can hit their revenue targets and not have any more hiccups, right? But if they can hit their revenue targets as they have said they have planned to, then yeah, I still think we got a shot at a $15 stock. My confidence, or confidence is such a bad word for me because it talks about emotions. My analysis, nothing has changed. Okay, in terms of what we factually know. So I'm at the end of the day, we've had almost 3 weeks of basing now. This is great. 2 weeks, over 2 weeks now. So the selling, I think, is done. We just don't have the buying yet, and lack of news may drift it lower to sideways. Okay, remember, when price enters consolidation after a trend, the exit from consolidation wants to be typically back into trend, so downwards. So we got to get some news. Looking at Sunday night, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I think it's going to be a very fluid situation. And let's not forget, we have this Saturday too, tomorrow. I mean, there are people that are afraid. I'm not going anywhere near a downtown, especially not in a big city, because we know that there are planned riots, protests. Whether they turn violent, I don't know, but I don't want to be around for that. So there's a lot of things that could spark, but yeah, the market has been pretty resilient. But I think right now, the market's been resilient because the market believes that the conflict will be contained. If it's not, and I put this in the room, look, you want to know what's going to happen? If the conflict spreads outside of the Iran, Israel, okay, region to other parties, right, other parties start bombing, and we saw Yemen today did a missile attack. So if we start seeing that, that's regional. Then the market will drop. The market will drop on that. If we don't see that over the weekend, the market could rally. Okay, so I think it's going to not rally. We'll see. That's what makes a market. Let's see. Otherwise, hey, for all you dads out there, have a wonderful Father's Day. For those of you that still have your dads, give them a hug. I lost my father. I miss him every day. And then for those of you moms out there that are playing or pulling double duty, and for those dads out there pulling double duty, you get a special happy extra Mother's Day too if you're playing the dad role too. So anyway, great week of trading, great week in the live sessions. I really encourage you, especially, guys, VIP and Fight Club. You guys need to be at least one of those a week. They are a lot of fun and a lot of learning. And hopefully I'll be able to launch the day trading next week on Wednesdays. So stay tuned for that and have a super and safe weekend. Thank you.
They ain't got no muscle, no hustle, no backbone. I stand alone, not tripping, just saying I'm different. Ain't hanging on to the coattails of the next man. Passport in my left hand, thinking that you are next. Heck, oh, you ain't holding your breath, man, cause I'm out here, I'm hungry. I don't play around, trust me. Ain't had as much drive since my Honda Civic got rusty, and my girl said that she loved me. It's funny, just thinking back, study hard for that 9 to 5, like I thought that I should be good with that. It was dreaming, still dreaming. Spotlight on me like Willie Beeman.